welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you very much.
Welcome to the new episode.
I really appreciate it.
Abby Podcast.
You've got a great setup here.
Thank you. That's the boys doing a great job.
Yeah.
The boys doing a great
I've
job.
seen some of your previous podcasts and you're doing really great work. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. It's been my honor to be having you here tonight. And would you mind telling me about yourself, please?
Yeah, so my name is Leighton Penrose. I run a marketing agency called Leading Social. Based in Dublin at the moment, but about 70% of our business is in the States. Small team of 8 people. And our main goal is we help e-commerce companies scale to the next level. So whether that be financially, whether that be change out their whole brand image, we go in there, we audit their whole systems, and we provide solutions.
Right. And how long do you have running this company?
So this company I've been running for the last 2 years. So my background was I was a freelancer. So when I was younger, I came across a guy called Ty Lopez. Are you familiar with him? So Ty Lopez was like the first internet marketer selling like online courses. So back in like 2016, 2017, I was watching a YouTube video and Ty Lopez comes up on my screen and he says, you can sell social media services to local businesses. So I clicked on it. I was working in an arcade at the time and the course cost €1,000. I think I actually asked for €200 extra to be able to purchase it. So I bought this course. And it laid out everything that someone would need to set up like the foundational business for a social media marketing agency. It taught you how to cold call, it taught you how to walk into a meeting, and then most importantly, it taught you how to provide the service. So over the course of about a year or two, I kind of just started working with local businesses in Drogheda, in Dublin, offering like basic content services, so just managing their Instagram account, creating Canva images, maybe going in, creating a couple of videos, and then managing their social media. As the years went on, something that was really clear was that it's quite difficult to scale up a company organically. So the next level is paid advertising. So obviously giving money to Facebook, Google, YouTube, and scaling up the company that way using advertising. I was traveling the world for about a year or two doing that freelancing business, and then I came back and I got one client who was Ask Paul. And Paul had about 3,000 followers at the time. And I think he might have had maybe 10 or 11 people working in a small office in Sandyford. I was really enthusiastic about his company because I was a big Gary Vee fan, and like Paul was like the first personal brand in Ireland to work in a really corporate service business. Like a lot of financial advisors.
Who's Paul?
Paul's. Sorry, I didn't explain that. Paul at the moment now has 100,000 followers on Instagram and is the leading expert in personal finance. And last year he sold his company for an 8-figure exit.
He sold the company
for 8-figure exit. Yeah.
Okay.
It's an earn-out, so he has I think a year or two left in that company. But yeah, 8 figures. Really impressive entrepreneur. I saw what he had to go through during the whole due diligence process and the amount of work that goes involved to selling a company, and the dude is the real deal.
Paul.
Is
that your business partner?
That is my business partner, yeah. So moving on in terms of the story, worked really closely with Paul for 2 years building up that business, had a really great time doing it, really enjoyed it, and eventually it got to a point where me personally, I had kind of gotten to this, it was getting very big, and me personally, I grew as much as I could within that organization. So I sat down with Paul and I said, look, really enjoyed the last 2 years. I loved building the business. Why don't me and you go and set up a marketing agency? And Paul was on board for it completely. And over the last 2 years, we've been building Leading Social. At the moment, Paul's at a kind of an advisory role and like a shareholder role. But my plan is to grow it to a certain place, and then Paul will get more involved in the future. It's a bit of a baby for him.
And how long are you in this market?
How long, sorry?
How long are you in the market?
In digital marketing?
Yes.
As a whole now, it's probably about 7 years, I'd say.
7 years?
Yeah. So it evolved from basic understanding of content marketing, 2 or 3 years of really nailing down paid advertising, and in the last couple of years, it's about I've been learning about email marketing, online organic marketing, conversion optimization, and then paid advertising as a whole. So the service we offer now is very much creating an omnipresence for brands and making sure that they have all the boxes ticked. One of the problems that I actually noticed when I was just doing Facebook ads was that there was so many people involved. You'd have one person doing Facebook ads, you'd have an agency doing Google ads, you'd have an internal person doing content, and then you'd have maybe somebody doing email marketing. So at Leading Social, the company we have now, we cover all of that in-house, so the client is just interacting with one team that covers everything, and we're all on the same page, we all understand the brand's goals, we're all on the same meetings. So that's been a real help for helping growing the companies, having everybody on the same page.
What was the hardest journey did you go through in the 7 years?
Yeah, so this is interesting. I think there's been a lot of stress over the last 3 years, just realising what it takes to actually grow a business. And I'm talking about like the annoying stuff like taxes and VAT and hiring a team and people leaving and people, joining and not like hiring people and then them not delivering on the work they said they would in the interview. But to be honest, the hardest part was the beginning. The hardest part was believing, oh yeah, I can walk into a business and I can offer them a service in exchange for money. Because all I had ever been taught before that was, get a job, get your paycheck, and that's you. So the hardest part was convincing myself and overcoming that limiting belief that, yeah, I can provide the value to these businesses once I actually do provide the value. And I can walk into this room and I can ask for a fee in exchange for my services. I'd never been around any entrepreneurs. I've never even heard the word. Like everybody in my family, all my friends, parents, everybody was working class people. So it just
like your family, none of them come from like business.
No, I was never exposed to it.
Right.
But we're very fortunate in this day and age because we have access to YouTube and we can
learn stuff. It's easy to learn right now more than in the past. But you're 18 years old when you start the business.
Probably a bit younger, probably 17, I'd say.
You're 17 when you start the business.
Yeah.
Do you think, is that the trustable issue? You cannot get more client in Drogheda or like any other businesses online? What was it?
To be honest...
Take me through that part.
So to be honest, I actually convinced or brainwashed myself that being younger was actually an advantage because with social media, people wanted to talk to a younger person because they're the people that really understood it. It wasn't necessary. It was just really self-belief, to be honest. It was just believing that I was worth it and it was actually a thing that you could go in there and get charged or pay people for a service.
I think it's really hard when you're 17 and you don't have the high social media and then people trust a business with yourself.
Yeah.
Would you trust somebody come up to you right now? He's 17 years old to run your company.
So the way it started actually was I was working in Fantasia at the time and I was earning like a couple of £100 a month, and I would pay a local videographer. So I would go to, for example, Chopped. I'd go into them and I'd say, hey, I want to make you a month's worth of content for free. I would go and pay the videographer to go get the content. He'd get them the 7 videos, and now I have my first case study. Now I have a case study of successful content that I made for people. So once that was created, I can then go into businesses and they can say, okay, well, he did it for these people. I think it makes sense for him to do it for me. So that's how it started. I did work for free for maybe a month or two, got a bit of a portfolio, and then began having the confidence to charge people.
Did you finish your college?
No, so I did go to Maynooth for a year, and I was studying an arts degree. Never found it very interesting. I had a good time, a lot of partying in college, and that was fun. But in terms of finishing it now...
When you say parties about the girls.
Yeah, a lot of I knew you were going to go there.
No, you just... you just say about the party. Listen,
well, look. Yeah.
We will back the question. How was the Maynooth party anyway?
They were good. They were good, man. Yeah, the Maynooth parties are good. I always love a good time. And what Paul always says, work hard but play hard. And I definitely got that from him. But yeah, actually shortly... As a side business, I actually did enter the nightlife business for about 18 to 2 years, running kind of hip-hop and R&B parties. And that was fun. Definitely learned a lot about people, learned a lot about like how to manage a small team of promoters, for example, and also finances. Because there's actually a lot of expenses when you want to throw a party. You got to do DJ, you got to hire security guards, you got to hire any kind of entertainment that you want to have for the night, and then also promoters need to get a cut too. So yeah, that was a really cool learning experience too, running parties for a couple of years.
But you didn't finish your college from Newt, or you just dropped it down.
No, but just like we were talking about earlier on, I mean, you can learn so much online, and I really didn't feel like I was getting much value. And I also didn't want the output that came from college, which meant like a job and then going up the corporate ladder. I knew that wasn't the direction I wanted to go in. Something that really inspired me was I went to America in the summer of 2019. And like I was doing it on a budget, but I really liked. It really just kind of dawned on me like how much you can do if you just freed up your time. You didn't need that much money, but if you were able to have control of the hours in the day, you didn't have to clock in somewhere. You could have an absolutely incredible life. So my first goal really was to just replace my income, meaning maybe like 30, 40 grand a year, but just have my time to myself.
You need a free time.
That
Most
was
important in your life, you need a free time.
that was my first.
That was the first goal you had.
Yeah, it was time. It was never really about money. And then as time went on, the game gets more interesting and the goals change. But all I wanted was time. I just didn't like clocking in and clocking out. I knew I had to do it for a certain period of time to get a bit of cash behind me. But it was the time, and I was really attracted to the idea of the online business world. Like I could do the social media stuff from anywhere in the world, and I did. I went to Paris and I went to places. I spent countless summers in California and working completely the whole time. Even like Bobo over there who's behind the camera, we went to San Diego we went to California for 3 months, and the boys were all working jobs, and I was able to do my work while I was there. So I really loved the idea of travel and just having my time to myself, and I realised how lucky we were to live in the age that we do now, where that's available.
And do you think is the biggest market right now is online marketing?
Yeah, so the biggest market or the biggest business opportunity?
The biggest market or biggest opportunity?
Yeah, so I definitely. Well, see, it depends. I also think that there's so much noise out there about drop shipping and starting an agency, and building a short form content agency, but there's a lot of competition in those spaces. I think there's a lot of untapped potential in building businesses around things that no one else is, but doing it online. And I don't know what those ideas are yet, but I would encourage anybody who wants to build an online business not to just fall into the trap of what the cool guys on Instagram are doing. Like really just sit about it and think, okay, I want to build an online business. What am I interested in? Because I really do believe if you're going to get started in business, I do think your first business should have a bit of passion involved with it. And then as time goes on, you're just going to have to accept that you're going to learn how to play the game differently, and you're going to need to build teams, and you're going to need to actually learn business skills. But at that beginning, when you're kind of getting over those limiting beliefs and building your confidence and learning how to charge people and invoice and do all that kind of stuff, I think having your business associated with a passion really will help you, because it's hard. So if you're a little bit more interested in it because it's aligned with like a hobby or something along those lines, it'll just make it a little bit easier as you're kind of facing those challenges.
You just say about the cool guys on Instagram.
Yeah.
What do you mean that?
I mean the very unrealistic culture that we have on Instagram, that you can just set up a business and then automatically charge people $5,000 a month for a service, and then move to Dubai and sit on a yacht and drink champagne all day.
By myself or with someone else?
With the girls. But you set it upstairs too, man. You gotta work. It's years of work. And like we were talking about your friends, it's like the real business.
You know what I'm saying. Like that's what I believe. That's what I believe. See, if you just keep work, and then you have no result, but like I feel like I'm better, and let's say work again, and then I feel better. Mm-hmm. But you say work hard, and boom, overnight success. And this is, I think, that's what it is. Like it's not about like what you're gonna post on your social media, what are you gonna drive, or what are you gonna wear it. Mm-hmm. It's all about you need to prove it. There's so many people out there that they're fake. You just say like they just put like a few pictures on Instagram, and then go to Dubai or whatever the 5-star hotel they're gonna go, and then put a few pictures, like a couple thousand if they spend it, and they charge people like luckily €500 per class, or €5,000, €10,000. But like I feel bad for the people, they pay for it and there's no result.
Yeah, it just disappoints me. Like again, like you were saying about how passionate you are about educating people and giving them access to the information, I just feel like those kids, when I say kids, I mean like 17 to maybe like 26, 27, those people who have that a bit of enthusiasm and they work hard for a year or two and they don't see results, but then they see Jimmy on Instagram in Dubai who looks like he's doing no work and apparently made this incredible online business. It just gives this guy an unrealistic expectation, and this guy feels like a failure when really he's built the foundations like you were saying. He just needs to keep on chipping away. So yeah, people need to be careful what they're digesting on Instagram. Like over the last 4 or 5 years, I've seen so many dudes build this fabulous life on Instagram, and now nobody knows where they are because a lot of them were crypto guys, which is fair enough. They did make money in fairness, but yeah.
What's one advice would you give for a 17 years old young man or a girl? They're gonna finish a leaving cert. They don't want to continue the college. What was your advice? Because you're 17 when you started your own business.
Yeah. So look, if they have an idea, I would do all you can and spend as much hours of the day putting that idea to work. But, I mean, in saying that, if you don't have an idea, I do think college is a good place to go and get a good foundation. You learn how to interact with people, you learn how to be on time, you learn how to actually write essays and, present yourself in presentations. There is some really cool core skills you can learn in college. I don't believe that whatever skills you learn in college will have a direct correlation to your business success, but I think it's a decent starting point. There's also some really cool entrepreneur societies, and there's some cool people doing a lot of innovative things in universities, which I don't think people talk about a lot. Even when I wasn't in university, I was actually still going to UCD and DCU and interacting with the entrepreneur societies. Oh, what are you building? What are you working on? So I don't knock university. I just think it has no correlation to business at all, but it's a good starting point. In terms of what advice I would give them to get started, yeah, really it's just lock yourself away and learn as much as you can on YouTube and just spend any free time you have learning and actually building something and getting something out there and getting some feedback off the back of your customers and begin building. That's really all I can advise. Would you agree with that, or what do you think?
Like I'm kind of agree. I think if 17 years old, if you want to start business, I think they need like a mentor. To get people as a better experience to put them to the right direction. Mm-hmm. There's no point like you can work like a 30 hour per week, like or per day, like or 20 hour, and then there's no result. You will give up. You will drop the business. I think the most important for a person who want to start a business, you need like a mentor, and they'll pick up the right direction. But don't ever give up your dream. You can change direction, but make sure your goal is going to be focused on your dream. You can go like circle around it. It doesn't matter until you find the right place to get that dream, and to make it happen. For a young boys, 17 years old, my advice is like finish your college. It's a very, very important, and the reason is because right now you can apply for anywhere, even if you want to apply for a cleaning business. To be a cleaner, they ask you, did you finish your leaving cert? They ask for your result. Back in the day, there was nobody gave a fuck about your result. Now they will, especially how the technology flew right now. Education is very, very important. And then the college, as you just say, like they only show they show up on time. In the next 40 years, they put themselves a lot of debt, but it's okay. They learn it, and then the most important is like, in my opinion, for a young kids, like, don't waste your time on daily basis. 12 hours a day on the phone,
Yeah.
At least you can read book. You can research something or ask somebody. If I need help, like I ask like one of my team, if he didn't ask the phone, I will ask someone else. I'm keep asking until I reach what I wanted. I'm not going to stop at all.
I'd love to circle back on what you said there, but like kind of combining what you said about mentors and then also the social media thing. I think it was Charlie Munger who said that his best mentors were dead because he was reading books and he was listening to video cassettes of people that aren't around anymore, but the information still carries. So rather than, and I might be a hypocrite in saying that because I do a bit of scrolling on Instagram.
We all do. We all do. Yeah, we all do.
But what's really important is not only is to look at your informational diet. Like, what are you consuming? What conversations are you having? What videos are you watching on social media? what books are you reading, or what magazines are you reading? So through the content that you're absorbing and through the educational resources that you're seeking, you can actually find mentors that you're never going to meet, because everybody's documenting their journey now, and there's so much information out there.
I think that the social media draw people's lives so much down behind it. Okay, because like back in the day, like people has time going to library. Mm-hmm. Nobody going to library now. Mm-hmm. You know, back in the day, people going to cinema as much as 3 times a week. They don't go out cinema much because they're going to be busy on the phone. You know, even if you take a person for a date, both of them on the fucking phone, they try to take a picture first before they enjoy the food. Yeah. Even the few friendship going to go out,
that's a good point.
Always on the phone. Mm-hmm. You know, like my point is like, if I'm going to come out with my team, with my friends, going to go out for food, put your phone in your pocket and have a normal conversation. Is the most important, is like the conversation. And we don't have this right now in the society. You see, every problem we have right now in the society, you know, from relationship, from the divorce, you know, from the business partnership is going to break down because we don't have conversation with each other. You know, 2 business partners has a problem. They don't have conversation with each other. They don't see each other. But in the second seat, they'll be on the phone, you know. And this is the biggest problem we have right now. I think social media is a great thing to have. We can learn a lot, but it can destroy the other part of our life as well.
Yeah, and if I'm being very honest with you, I think that's something I'm trying to balance myself too. Like, I'm sure you know, like when you're sometimes business, you might be out with your friends, but you get an important call or you get an important message, and sometimes you just got to be on your phone. But yeah, I'm trying to be more present in when I'm hanging out with my friends too, because you're right, like it is being lost, and particularly on the date situation too. Like you're right. I mean, how can you ask someone to go on a date and then spend like a third of it on your phone looking at whatever Instagram thing you put up? I hear you.
It's really, really hard. Like even like a 2 friendship, like 2 boys going out see like cinema, like until the movie said beyond the phone, just keep struggling and the next. They don't have a conversation about talk about the movie. What's the movie going to be all about it? You know?
Yeah. That's the problem, man. These like the platforms are just super addictive. Like they're literally they hire like scientists to make the sounds, to make the visuals, to make the UX. They want you to spend as much time as possible on those platforms, and it really is destroying like human communication. And unfortunately, Abby, I don't think it's going to get much better. I think
it's going to get worse.
It's going to get worse, man.
But do you think, you talk about the school and college, do you think in the society we're living right now, there is much education that can teach people what's money, what's real money?
No, there's not. I don't think there's even like a beginning of the education in terms of like how like traditional school.
Yes.
No.
Do you think they teach them enough education they can be entrepreneur, or they can teach them to be like employees?
Look, at the end of the day, if they taught it in school how to be an entrepreneur, like they wouldn't be entrepreneurs, because then everybody would know how to do it, and everybody would. If they taught you in school how, like that it was easy, and here all you have to do is X, Y, and Z, then everybody would just do that. Like entrepreneurs are special for that reason, because they take the risk. And they invest their own capital, or they invest their own time. They could build something for 10 years and it not worked out, and then they wasted those 10 years technically because they didn't build a strong foundation in a company or get the work experience. So entrepreneurs are special because they take that risk. I would like to see a bit more encouragement for entrepreneurship in secondary school, and for people to maybe... For teachers maybe to invite more entrepreneurs in and share their experiences, because I do feel like, particularly in Ireland, they really do just kind of pigeonhole you into into the workforce. So yeah.
Do you think education in Ireland is good enough?
Education?
Yeah.
I think, to be honest with you, so I always have this conversation with my friends, right? And to be honest, yeah, I think it's, like, I mean, you cover all the bases, and I think people leave school knowing their maths, knowing how to speak English, and having the basis. I do think if you want to excel in terms of education, it's all about you taking responsibility for it and you finding out how to learn more about a certain topic.
I think school or a college, they teach them more to become employee more than be like entrepreneur. They teach them to be more like kind of like a hashtag slave.
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with being in the workforce either. I mean, someone like people. Sometimes it's better to be like a strong B player than be the A player.
You say in the beginning you just want to be like free time.
That's my personal goal.
And why are you agree with other generation?
Well, why would I?
You just say like employees better.
I'm not saying it's better. I'm saying it's better because let's say, so I was 17. I was single and I had no idea what I wanted to do, but I knew that I wanted to have my free time, and what meant a lot to me was travel. But let's say I had a girlfriend at 17, and let's say we had planned, all right, cool, let's go out, get a bit of income, get a house, get a kid, get a dog. That'd be their goals. Maybe they didn't want, the time didn't matter so much to them. They really just wanted that security and to build that home feeling. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
My goal was, I just want to get out there, travel, meet new people, be on my own, and just kind of see as much of the world as possible. That was my original goal.
Because you work in industry, do you think will be happening in next year in a social media wise? What's going to be something new going to come up? Like we have all this TikTok and Instagram, we have X, we have other what's new? Do you think they can release it?
To be honest with you, Abby, I don't really know. There's nothing on the radar that I've learned recently in terms of what new is going to be coming up. But I think the biggest change that we'll see next year is the way people interact with the platforms. Like I remember, and you probably remember too, like a couple of years ago, it was almost like embarrassing to put a video up on Instagram. Like nobody would do it because they would be worried about what people think in the town.
Yeah.
But now everybody puts up a video. They're vlogging.
Man, the woman be naked on a fucking Instagram.
Yeah, every PT is on Instagram. I mean,
man, if you put a picture, you got fucking thing like. Yeah. If a woman gonna put like a fucking bikini picture, you got like fucking 1,000 like.
Yeah, and
there's no shame right now. Like there's nothing. They're so like. Look. We're not supposed to be talking about this, but I'm gonna.
No, sure, go on.
I think they're gonna take her. I think in a minute. I was like today we have like just normal conversation with my friends, and then there's a guy. I never see this guy before. I never heard about this guy. They call Adam 22.
Of course, I've seen this guy. Of course.
I don't know. I never heard, to be honest.
Rob knows this guy too. Actually,
first time, and then he showed me the clip. It was on TikTok.
Right.
He showed me the clip on TikTok, and he say, "This man is going to sleep with my wife." Mm-hmm. What kind of a man is this? Like, you're going to introduce to someone else in public, social media, you're going to sleep with my wife because he wants to buy a new car for his wife. What kind of a man is this? Like, where is the society going right now? If a man publicly going to say like this, like, you're going to bring other man to sleep with his wife, and like, people pay to watch that video, and he's going to buy a car for his wife. And then he has the kids as well. He has a daughter as well.
I think he's a very unique situation. I'd hope that there's not a lot of men like that out there. But, the craziest thing to me is how comfortable people are doing that online, and how many people just share it so openly.
Is he not fucking embarrassing? Like, he just can't public, like, you see. Or he's not man enough.
I see. This is the whole conversation people are having now, and people are interested in these kind of relationships. And like me personally, I'd be more interested in a traditional form of relationship. But it's just social media has just snowballed.
What do you think about? Let's talk about relationship. Like, what do you think about people going with this relationship right now? What's happening right now with relationships? What's your advice? Like the way people talk about it right now, even like. These women come out of social media like initially they are naked back in the day was nothing like this. They literally they don't wear anything right now. Even I was out in Manchester. Yeah. I saw like these women like they don't wear any bra anymore. Like they don't wear anything else.
Yeah. So it is quite interesting because I think I was reading something, and like the average man now could see more naked women in a day than a man could see in his whole lifetime in 1940s. And you do have to think about what impact that's having on a male's brain, especially the younger guys having so much access to that kind of content. Definitely think it's having a negative effect on young men as a whole. But in fairness, there is the conversation that like social media, people can do what they want, and if that's how certain people want to expose themselves online, if it's a way to make income, that's
okay.
That comes down to it. Well, what's your thought on it?
I think it's wrong because I have two amazing daughters, And then I think the society, the way, I think these all coming from United States.
Yeah.
Like usually we have two gender, we have male and female. But if you obviously like you've been in America, you've been to Vegas, there's fucking 100 like gender down there. You know, they create every day as a new gender. But they teach people, you know, it's okay if your woman can sleep with someone else. That's normal.
Yeah.
It's okay like if a woman gonna takes in someone else. That's normal. But for in my culture, the way I grew up in my neighborhood, this is nothing. It's not a good sign.
Yeah, I think one positive that we can take from it, in terms of like the over sexualization on like social media, is I do think that's like a Western world problem. I think that it's all
It is a Western problem. It's all Western problem. Look at it, like the divorce rate is going high, and man is always single. Because the man he don't want to get a girlfriend right now.
Yeah, I think there's also a good conversation to have there in terms of relationships in your 20s. I feel like it's quite difficult for the majority of men to be able to financially provide, because especially in Ireland, I think it's really difficult now with like the housing crisis and like jobs and like this like how people are progressing in their careers now. It's like men would be able to want to commit to somebody and then be able to move into a house and be able to. But I know a lot of people that aren't even able to afford to move out of the house by the time they're 30, and they did everything right. They went to school, they went to university, they got a good job, but it's just the country as a whole is just not looking after like the modern day man, if you want to call him, and it's making it very difficult. So, and I think men in the back of their minds like to have themselves sorted before they commit to a relationship. When I say sorted, I mean, you know, have a strong foundation and then begin to you know, grow with a woman in a family household. And I feel like the country isn't serving men very well in that regard.
See, there's no trust right now. Like, you know, like they teach women you have more right. They has more right more than us. But they can say like, I want to be independent. They has more fucking right more than us. You know, they has everything more than us. They you know, they are more money. They are more vote. You know, they can create whatever they want to create it, but we don't have the same level they are. But they start complaining, man has more right, more than a woman. I cannot see that part where there's a woman right and we don't have it. Like, I think woman has up there and man is still down there. Like, if a man gonna date a girl, you have to pay for her food. You have to pay for everything. But if we talk about the equal, why the woman not gonna pay for it?
I get that, though. I would pay, obviously, every time. But, to be honest, there's a lot of women that say that they would pay for it. And maybe we just haven't been exposed to those women.
Right. Look, we stopped talking about this because, like, time going to run out. Like, if a man going to come up to you, ask you a question, say, you want to make, like, 45K per year, put him in the right direction, what is it?
If a man came over to me and said, I want to make 45K per year.
Yeah, he's 22.
Yeah, go to college and get a job in IT.
How you can go to college?
After college.
He's 22 years old. He finishes college.
Yeah, I'd probably go for a sales job. I'd probably go get a sales job with a nice maybe 30, 35 base and then 10, 15 commission. That's usually where they'll start you off in a relatively medium-sized company. Sales is probably the best one from an income earner with no skills, because sales can be learned relatively quickly if you're interested in it and if you actually put the groundwork in. And yeah, within 2 years, if you're one of the top performers in that sales team, you could be earning decent money.
You're 7 years in the business. What's one thing you regret?
To be honest, I don't think I regret anything. I really don't. I am very happy the way it played out. The last couple of years, I've taken the stress, but I love the stress. The stress makes me who I am, and I feel like the more stress that we're exposed to, the tolerance gets higher. It means that we can take on bigger problems, bigger challenges. I could say I could have worked harder in the last couple of years, but
if you want to go back 7 years ago, what are you going to change inside yourself?
Nothing, man. Maybe I'd probably get in the gym more. That's probably eat healthier, less drinking. Okay.
What's one thing you have a plan in 2024?
Grow the company, yeah. I'm going to really... So the last kind of couple of years, I've really been focused on the service that we're providing for people. like in terms of the quality of service that we're providing, the level of detail that we're given. But next year, it's really about the growth of the business. So I've got a really solid team in place now. I'm going to take a step back from providing the service, and I'm really going to just focus on sales and getting the right partners to work with, so we can thrive and help some more cool businesses.
What business do you have one thing in your mind you want to take over?
What business? In the future?
Yeah.
I'd love to get into summits. I really want to hold like really big summits, like being able to bring in speakers like Richard Branson or Stephen Bartlett or Gary Vaynerchuk and do events in the Dublin Convention Centre. And yeah, just share all the information with people, get more people in the room talking. I feel like a lot of people although it's great that we can talk to people online and have these conversations and connect with people, I feel like a lot of people aren't sitting down, shaking hands and actually building relationships. So I'd like to hold large summits and bring those really cool, fun, and we have the Web Summit, it was founded in Ireland, but I would like to bring more of that stuff here.
In 2024?
2025 maybe.
2025, okay. And the next, there's nothing wrong with it. Next 2 years, it's a goal, you have to work on the goal. Absolutely, there's nothing wrong,
Yeah.
As long as you have a goal and you focus on the goal, don't ever fucking give up and just keep going.
Yeah.
You'll make it happen.
Yeah.
2 years going to be fly like this before you imagine how the 2023 going.
That's it.
Even I didn't recognize 2023 going to be end soon.
I know, yeah, it's crazy, man, yeah. Just flies by.
But look, it's been a pleasure to have you, been an honor. And then my whole question is done. Now the mic is all yours. You have, can ask, you can say anything to your view, to your business.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate it. If I was to... I hope everybody did enjoy that conversation. If there is any dudes out there that are kind of in secondary school and are a bit confused about what they want to do, or maybe they're not getting family support, because when I was doing my business, my mum and dad didn't have a clue like what I was talking about. What do you mean you're going to go down to Susie down the road and ask her for €500 for social media? So if you have no family support or you have no school support, my inbox is open. Send me a message for sure. And yeah, keep dreaming, keep the dream alive, and anything is possible.
Keep driving.
Keep driving, baby. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me on.
Good on.
Legend.